All right, November 14th, 2024. I'm gonna go over some trades that I took. So first one was ITRM. I ended up buying this here. Ran out, got stopped out, unfortunately. I thought this was gonna have a little bit more oomph to it. From what I remember, the stock had FDA approval, and it just, unfortunately, just didn't work. BBAI, I bought as this thing broke out. Got rejected. Fortunately, it didn't work either. Let's see. GLYC. Bought this thing on this day here as it broke out. Pulled back. Eventually stopped me out. I mean, my stop loss was a little bit too tight, and that's fine. It's still on watch. The stock just still looks really good. So as this thing starts breaking above 43, 44, 45, I'll start adding into this. Don't see why this thing can't go back up to 90 cents a buck. It's got $200 million in funding, I believe, from a company. I mean, overall, the stock has had previous runs. You can see, if we look at larger dates, some nice runs overall over the course of the histories, or the stock's history. So it's still on watch. CGBS, another stock that is on my watch. Bought the breakout, stopped me out, got rejected, lost like a good 20 bucks, 30 bucks on this, unfortunately. It's part of the game. Fortunately, I am in a downtrend right now. I've lost a pretty penny, about 15% of my account, 10% of my account, 15% of my account. Part of the game, unfortunately. So this is still on watch. If this thing sets up over the next week or so, it could be an option. Next one is LULN, Mullen Automotive. And go down to a smaller time frame so I can explain what happened here. So this thing broke out. We go down to a 5 minute. This is where I actually bought it. So this thing ran up off of some news. Basically, they started putting their cars on a Turo, just one car, their van. It's an electric company. It broke out. And I was up a pretty penny. As it pulled back, I ended up buying more on this dip, and it continued to push up. I had about 350 shares of this. I'm in a large position. I should have only kept the 100 shares that I was in, just for risk management wise. Because if I would have kept the 100 shares, I could have easily held through this pullback here, but because I added thinking it was going to continue this day, I ended up taking like a $100 loss on it. More than I ever thought I wanted to. I mean, this is a piece of shit stock. Eventually this thing is going to go back down with its trend, and as you can tell, the trend has been down. Every time this thing has popped, it's just gotten rejected. I mean, one pop here, nice. One here, nice. Something right there. Another one right here. But recently, this thing has just been a piece of shit. So it got stopped out. Ended up not getting back in as it broke above. It just started becoming choppy, and I was like, you know what? I'll look for an entry up here, above here. I did see this breakout. There just wasn't a whole lot of volume that was coming in. You can see there's some volume. 284,000 shares, 165, like just some volume, and then eventually just ended up pulling back. And I think it's just been really choppy. So I mean, it is still on watch. Maybe above 380s, fours, but I think this thing is run its course. You have diverging volume, the stock's grinding up higher with diverging volume. It just doesn't look all that good. But because this is low float, there's a chance. High short percentage, there's a chance. So unfortunately, I took an L on that, but it is part of the game. Now, the next stock that I am in, let me go here. I am in MSTZ. It's a reverse ETF. Since the whole crypto market has been booming, this thing has been on fire. I believe that there will end up being a pullback. I think the Trump election news, it's kind of run its course for now, and I think we'll end up being pulled back. If we look at Bitcoin, this thing has had an awesome run, and unfortunately did not capitalize on any of it. Nice entry here. So unfortunately, you would have even been stopped out here. And this thing has just been tricky overall. You could have entered here, but it's been a tricky one. So, I mean, this thing is up, 50% since. All right, let's see. When was the election results? About here. This is the election result, so it's up 33% since the election results. Now, I will say that it did start running prior off of anticipation of Trump winning, from what I've researched, and MSTR, Michael Saylor, talking about how he was going to, buy more Bitcoin, etc. So I think that added some more fuel. But at this point, based off of where Michael Saylor said he was going to start buying more Bitcoin, this thing is up, 190%. And so I did some research and looked for a inverse ETF, which is MSTZ, and I did buy MSTZ. I have 169 average, so I did start buying some. We'll go down to 5 minutes so you can just see a little bit more. As MSTR started topping, I bought some here, and I bought some here, and then I bought a little bit more here, and I actually bought a little bit more here as well, about another 100 shares. So I got a 169 average. Pretty happy with it. I got 822 shares of MSTZ, and yeah. I mean, if we end up pulling back to Bitcoin's, range, back down towards, the 70,000s, 60,000s, I don't see why MSTR would hold up. It follows Bitcoin, right? It's basically, that's what's fueling MSTR. Actually, it is what's fueling MSTR. The earnings are and so why can't this thing come back down to 150, right? I mean, a pretty large drop. So average is basically, I ended up buying MSTZ here, and then a little bit more here earlier today. It's 10:40 p.m. currently. So yeah, I will say a big thing that I'm learning that I really need to continue to instill is my patience. I mean, I think that I'm patient, and I believe I have worked on it quite a bit. But stock selectivity, waiting for the setup to truly form, and continuing to monitor those setups that do have a catalyst, right? I think is just so important. Um, and so it's something I just need to continue to be persistent with. I need to make sure that I'm monitoring the stocks on a watch list, continuously following and almost micromanaging these watch lists, making sure I'm really on top of them. Because honestly, I think that is the biggest thing that is holding me back from true success in the markets. More success than I currently am, you know, than the current knowledge that I currently have is scanning for setups and being on top of the setups that are truly holding their catalyst movement, and how are they forming, where are they forming, right? And so I really need to instill patience on the stocks that are running up, going through those stocks, like whether it's before market or after market, um, and continuing just to stock those stocks, because those are the ones that I actually want to be in, like AGRY, right, or ARGY, AGRY. Don't even remember the fucking name of it. Um, let me see if I can pull it up. AGFY, AGFY, right? I mean, this thing was on my watch list. This thing was on my list, and I totally dropped the ball on this. I mean, you look at the hourly. This was, you can see I had some trend line set, and I knew that there was a potential for this thing to run. And honestly, I just dropped the ball on it. And a big proponent on why I dropped the ball is because I was not monitoring it as closely as I should have. And what's the reason why I shouldn't have? There's no reason. There's no excuse. It was a great setup. You can see, look at this thing. You have higher lows. It got tight and it broke out of this range. And then this thing went on to make a 266% move in 2 days. Like, if I'm not capitalizing on these moves, then what's the point of me even trading, right? So I really just need to continue just to instill that discipline. It really comes down to discipline and making sure your habits and your routine is on point. And you can't get complacent. I can't get complacent, because the more complacent I am, the less setups I'm going to be able to jump on. And this is a perfect example of that. Like, there's no reason why I shouldn't be in this. This is a great setup. This was a great setup. Higher lows, really tight entry. But because I was so fixated on everything else moving the market, and like, I missed it. So that's the biggest thing I'm going to be working on. I spent all day, literally no music, just thinking about that. Like, really just like, what are you doing? Like, you need to make sure that you're sticking to this, that you're staying disciplined and following this routine. And if you don't, then you're going to continue to miss these setups. And I don't want to miss these. I mean, this is what creates growth in your account. This is what grows your account, are setups like this. So that's the biggest takeaway from the last couple weeks is, one is staying persistent with your risk management. Like, there's no reason why you should be putting in as this is so being such a hypocrite right now when I say this, but there's no reason to be putting your entire portfolio into one stock. Here I am with MSTZ. Literally my entire portfolio is in the stock. But You know, it's part of the game. And if I don't learn, then the market will teach me, and I may not be doing this for a while, forever, you know, for a long time. So if I don't adapt to this, like I'll get kicked out of the market just by the sheer reason of me not following my own rules. And like that is so essential. There's no reason why I should be in MSTZ full size. So I think that just continue to just stay, just staying persistent and making sure that sorry, I got a little off, went on a tangent there. One, proper risk management, no exception. Like no more than 20% of your account, 15 to 20%. I have heard pushing your account when you have high conviction, and I did have high conviction in MSTZ, so I pushed it. But how much conviction do I really have on these type of setups? Not a crazy amount, especially on parabolic shorts, right? This is technically a parabolic shorts. Mean reversion play, I saw the mean reversion play on MSTZ, right? You have this soak candle here. You can see this high volume candle that popped up right here, right? We go down to 15. You can see, look at this soak candle. It's soaked right back up. And as soon as this thing started curling back above and the demand, you can see the demand here, right? I was like, this is something that I have studied, and I always am looking for areas of demand. This is a clear indication of demand. This candle is a clear indication of demand. This just showed that. And so I got in. So yeah, that's why I'm in MSTZ, and you know, if this thing works out, I'll pay a pretty penny. But in the future, you know, I should not. There's no reason I should be putting 100% of my account into anything. 30%, 40% max. But like, you always got to think about the worst case scenarios. Imagine this gapping down, right? Imagine MSTR gapping up, you know, to 400, right? I'm gonna lose, you know, another 100 bucks on this trade, $130 on this trade. And like, do I really want to go through that again? Like, those losses, I can't have those losses on an account size like that I have. It's just reckless. So yeah, part of the game, but this is what I'm currently at. Show my P&L. Oh, let me scroll down a little bit. There you go. So there's the current balance. Obviously, definitely a pullback. My peak so far in the account is 1,766 realized profits, and that was on 11/7. So definitely a pullback. I mean, down below, you know, 1,480 bucks is my low. 1,485. And I'm back at 1,600. But a big reason of that is because MSTZ. So if MSTZ gaps up, I'll be back down to around 1,500 bucks, and it's got to continue just to follow my rules. So, all right. Well, that was a good video, I think. I need to go back and just look at the past videos and what I learned, what I didn't learn, what mistakes did I make, and I think those are the two big things that I keep talking about. Building those watch lists, stocking those, you know, for at least a month, you know, at least 2 weeks, at least 3 weeks, and proper risk management. So, alrighty. Well, there's me.